Islam Makhachev looks to get one step closer to a lightweight title shot when he meets Beneil Dariush in the main event of UFC Vegas 49 next Saturday. But heading into the fight, I'm seeing some fans, not all, some fans make up these false narratives heading into the fight. And in this video, I'm going to debunk a lot of the myths that you're seeing out there on social media and on YouTube comments that people are saying about Islam that simply aren't true. My name is James Lynch. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you won't miss future videos. So let me start off by saying I am an Islam Makhachev fan. He's a great fighter. He's been very dominant in a lot of his performances. I mean, who didn't like that Dan Hooker fight, him putting away Hooker in the very first round in that last matchup? He's a great fighter. And in fact, I actually get annoyed when I see fans call Islam boring because I don't think he is a boring fighter. I think he's just a very dominant fighter, but not in the way that a lot of casual fans like MMA fights, which is, knockouts and things of that nature. Islam is a special fighter when it comes to his grappling and his wrestling in the fight. So I just want to clear that up right off the bat. But we're going to start with myth number one, which ties into this. It seems like anyone who gives any sort of mild critique on Islam Makhachev or gives Beneil Dariush any credit is considered a quote-unquote hater. That's simply not true. I think you can be a fan of a fighter, but you can also be critical of a fighter as well. And I think one of the things that people are seeing heading into this fight is that this is another top opponent for Islam that he needs to face in order to get that lightweight title shot. Just because you think that doesn't mean you hate Islam Makhachev. So right off the bat, the number one narrative that I see going into this fight is that if you somehow give Beneil Dariush any little bit of credit, you're considered a hater. That's simply not true. I think you can do both. I think you can be a fan of Islam heading into this fight, and I think you can also talk about some of the positives that Beneil Dariush brings to this matchup. So I know I'm going to get hate on this video just for simply talking about things about Islam Makhachev because there's this idea that if you even mildly critique him, you're considered a hater. So wanted to get that one right out of the way. The second myth I'm seeing heading into this fight is that people are counting out Islam Makhachev. Really? Because I'm looking at the betting odds right now, and he's almost a 4-to-1 favorite here. Look at this. DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars, you name it. Minus 365, minus 375, minus 370. I mean, he's almost a 4-to-1 favorite, but apparently that's not good enough for a lot of the Islam Makhachev fans who think that he's being counted out. That's just not true. That's a made-up fabrication going into this fight that Islam Makhachev is being counted out. The people who actually, care about fighting are the people who are betting on fights, the people that are willing to lay money down. And the money right now is saying that Islam Makhachev is a big favorite heading into this fight. So this idea that he's being counted out, that's completely wrong. And you look at it here, the betting line has been solid since it opened here. It hasn't changed. He's been a consistent favorite heading into this one for the most part. In fact, on this line here for BetMGM, you'll see here he's minus 350. People are actually betting him more. So stop saying that he's being counted out ahead of this fight. He's not. The betting lines speak for themselves. Almost every betting line had Islam as a lower favorite, and he's increased on most books here. Look at this, minus 300, now minus 375. And for those of you who don't know betting very well, use the $100 rule. If you bet $375 on this fight, you're going to win $100. So you just got to remember that when it comes to betting lines. But yeah, this idea that people are counting out Islam ahead of this fight, simply not true. And on that same line of thinking, there's an idea that Islam Makhachev, once again, he's being counted out again. You look here in all of his fights, he's been a sizable favorite. Look at this, minus 390. When you're supposed to fight Rafael dos Anjos, he's minus 500, minus 300 against Hooker, minus 500 against Thiago Moises, minus 400 against Drew Dober, etc., etc. He hasn't been counted out. Every single one of his fights, for the most part, other than maybe earlier on, you look here when he fought Chris Wade or Adriano Martins, for the most part, he's been a decent betting favorite, at least a 3-to-1 favorite, if not more than that, heading into his fights. So this idea that Islam is being counted out again is just bullshit. It's not true. So I don't know why people keep making this up, but that's another myth that I'm here to debunk in this video, that Islam Makhachev has not been counted out fight after fight. We often hear Islam Makhachev compared to Khabib Nurmagomedov, and same thing, just like Khabib, people are counting out Islam. Khabib was not counted out either. Look at all of these betting lines here. Khabib Nurmagomedov, minus 500 against Poirier, minus 350 against Gaethje, minus 240 against Poirier. McGregor, he was even a favorite. Remember everyone saying, oh, everyone thought McGregor was going to win? The betting lines speak for themselves. Nurmagomedov was the favorite heading into that fight. Iaquinta, he was minus 875, minus 1050. Again, this is a complete made-up lie from some of the fans, not all, some of the fans of Khabib and Islam, that he's been counted out. That's simply not true, and I see this posted all the time on social media. That's another lie. Here's the proof right here. BestFightOdds.com. You can look up the odds ahead of Khabib's fights. He has not been counted out either. Now let's get into some other myths. Here's one that was posted on YouTube. I'm not going to include the guy's name because I don't want people to go after him, but it says most of these people want Dariush to win, but they know what Makhachev is going to bring to the table. Okay, I agree with that. I think there's a lot of people who like Dariush. It's not because they hate Islam. They like Dariush. He's a very likable guy. You watch his interviews, very, very friendly guy. That's what it more has to do with. It's like, you know, people who like Max Holloway. Who hates Max Holloway? You're not going to find anyone who hates Max Holloway. He's a very nice guy, very exciting fighter. Same sort of thing here with Dariush. So we agree there. But here's the second point where he loses me. He says, and all this narrative of Dariush being the better grappler, better striker, and unbelievable knockout artist is bullshit. No one is saying that. No one is saying that Dariush is the better grappler. No one is saying that. Find me some evidence of that. That's a very small percentage of people who would even suggest that. Nobody thinks that he's the better grappler here. What they are saying is that Dariush is better on the ground than Dan Hooker was. That is true. We know Dariush has a good ground game, but he's not better than Islam Makhachev. Better striker. That's a fair debate because, again, Islam, we haven't really seen a ton of his striking in his fights. It's mostly grappling. But even then, that's not a controversial opinion to mention that. But then, unbelievable knockout artist. No one is saying that Dariush is an unbelievable knockout artist, okay? You look at his last couple fights, he hasn't knocked out anyone. I did knock out Scott Holtzman, but, in general, you don't think of Dariush as this knockout artist. So that's another made-up lie. Dariush only has 3 KO wins in 20 fights. Exactly, we're on the same page there. Last time I checked, Makhachev has more submission wins than Dariush. Again, no one's saying that he's the better grappler, and Dariush has had a hard time wrestling with Ferreira. He's not out wrestling Makhachev. No one is saying that he's going to out wrestle Makhachev. This is a made up lie, and 56 people like this, which shows me that 56 people don't know what they're talking about, because that's just not true. No one is saying that he is the better grappler. Here's another comment here from YouTube, kind of about something I talked about earlier. People are going to be shocked to see what a confident Islam does with Beneil. No, they are not. He is the betting favorite going into this fight. People are not shocked if Islam Makhachev wins this fight. This is a made-up narrative that people are going to be surprised of what Islam can do. We saw him beat Dan Hooker, who's a very good fighter. We saw him beat Thiago Moises. We saw him beat Drew Dober. These are all good wins in the division. So this idea that he's going to shock the world is just complete nonsense. Not to mention the fact that Beneil Dariush has been beaten a number of times. Alex Hernandez knocked out Beneil Dariush. So this idea that Beneil is, this guy you can't be beat is, again, just another made-up lie. Another narrative we see here is that Islam Makhachev, he can't lose. It's impossible. There's no way he's going to lose this fight. Well, I'll tell you what, anyone can lose a fight, okay? Again, I'm going to pick Islam ahead of this fight. I think most people are, but that doesn't mean that Beneil can't win this fight. And people forget, Islam was knocked out. He was knocked out by Adriano Martins in the first round at UFC 192. I know that was way back in 2015. I know that 9 times out of 10 they fight, Islam probably wins that fight, but this idea that Islam is invincible, again, is not true. He's been finished. He's been knocked out. It happens. George St. Pierre got knocked out by Matt Serra. Does that mean George St. Pierre is a bad fighter? No, but this idea that someone is invincible is just not true. He can be beat. Here's the proof right here. No, hardly anyone ever brings this up, the fact that he lost to Adriano Martins. So again, this idea that Islam Makhachev is invincible, not correct. And the last myth that I'm going to debunk here is one that is just completely out of left field that no one brings up. And again, if you do happen to find someone who says this, send it my way, but I've yet to see this. But I'm going to read this comment here from Reddit. He lacks the charisma that Khabib had. I think many pedestrian fans are weary of another AKA Khabib 2.0 domination in the lightweight division. Okay, there's no proof of that, but whatever. Fake fans don't understand nor appreciate the grappling skills it takes to have that level of ground control in the UFC. They do. He's a betting favorite going into this fight. On a darker note, this is the one I want to focus on here. I also think there are many fans who don't want another Muslim holding the belt, especially a potentially dominant one. This is just made up. And I've seen other people talk about this, that because Islam Makhachev is Muslim, I had a guy, and I wish I had the comment, I think he deleted it, saying that people are jealous of Islam because practices as a Muslim, meaning that, he doesn't hook up with random girls, he doesn't drink, he's very disciplined, and that people are somehow jealous of that, and that's why they don't like him. This is all made up. I don't even know where this comes from. Nobody is bringing up religion at all. I mean, there was the one time where Conor McGregor sort of poked fun at Khabib Nurmagomedov's wife for wearing a veil, but that was just a single issue, and Conor fans are nuts anyways. There's Conor fans who probably think that he would knock out Francis Ngannou. There are fans like that who believe that, so you can't even pay attention to that type of noise or nonsense. But this idea that people don't like Islam Makhachev, they don't want to see him succeed because he's Muslim, there is no proof of that. None. This is just made up stuff for a guy that, again, is a huge betting favorite heading into this fight here. So this is another made-up lie by Islam Makhachev fans. Again, not all of them, some of them, that just needs to be debunked here. And you're going to have idiot fans like that in every sport that are racist, bigoted, whatever. That's inevitable. But to say that that's actually a thing heading into this fight, completely false. Completely false. And here's another comment along the same line. P-word are mad. He's Muslim. That's it. Let them stay mad. Again, no one is mad that he's Muslim. No one is jealous. No one is upset. There's no proof of people saying this heading into the fight here. No one is saying this. So again, I'll reiterate it one more time because I know I'm going to get negative feedback on this video. I like Islam Makhachev. I think he beats Beneil Dariush next Saturday. I think he's an exciting fighter to watch. I don't think he's a boring fighter like some fans have suggested. But we got to start telling the truth here about what's really going on heading into this fight. This idea that he's being counted out. This idea that he's being counted out again, or that Dariush is so much better in all these areas. None of that is true. A small percentage of people feel that way, but that's not the majority. The majority of people, the proof is right there, are picking Islam Makhachev ahead of this fight. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you like the video. Also hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos. What do you guys think? Have you guys noticed this as well? I'm seeing this all the time on social media, on YouTube, of people just, I don't know, they're not satisfied with, the narrative going into this fight, so they're starting to make things up. And it seems like any little mild critique of Islam Makhachev, people think you're a hater, or you don't like him, or you don't want to see a Muslim succeed. This is all nonsense. So let's talk about this in the YouTube chat. Let's keep it respectful. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time and really appreciate you tuning in.
With that original flow, head kicks with the pros, picks up the fights or anything in the mix. Getting closer to the heart of the flame, bringing conversations with heavy hitting names. You feel the love of the game.